193, science. All right, let's go ahead. 193. Okay, go ahead, Cullen.
Okay. The more we learn about other plants, the more we learn about other plants, the more we can see God designed our home to be the perfect place for life. He created Earth to orbit the sun in the best place of the solar system. The sun and moon were designed in just the right way to help the Earth work. God also designed and created an atmosphere with air for us to breathe. The Earth is not too cold or the Earth is not too hot or too cold. Our atmosphere gives Earth the best weather for life. The Earth is the only planet. The Earth is the only planet
You're right.
planets in the solar system known to have water for us to drink. It is the only planet to have a water cycle. It is the only planet where food can grow. What a great provider our God is.
Awesome. Okay. So yes, so we know that we have life here on Earth. We have plants that grow constantly. We also have animals that live here, and then us humans as well who are alive. We also live here on the planet as well. And so we had talked about already how the sun and how the moon, how the sun's job is to warm and light up. That's what God did when he created the sun and the moon. One would rule in the day, one would rule in the night, and also how he set the sun to rise, the sun to set, and also when the sun sets, the moon comes. And so the Lord did all of this, and all of that is essential to us being alive on the earth, and also the water. Remember, majority, we had talked about this when we did the ocean habitat, like 70% of the earth is water. Most of it is water. And so God designed it all that way to be that way. There's so much life that he created on the earth. Okay, let's talk about 194, and let's talk about the earth's surface. How it looks here on the earth. Okay, go ahead, BJ.
Number 193.
4.
All right. The earth is also the most beautiful planet that God made. Only the planet
Yeah.
Earth has beautiful green
Consonants.
consonants and blue oxygen. In fact, the Earth's
Surface.
surface is mostly covered in water. Where there is land, it does not all look the same. Some places are very
wet. Some places are very wet.
Very wet and filled with
vegetation,
like the rain
forest.
Other places are dry like the desert.
Okay, good. Okay, so yes, so we know that while we're here, if you've ever, traveled and looked at different places or watched videos of different places here, there are so many different kind of places. We have wet places, like, of course, the oceans. We have dry places like a desert. We have some places that are full of vegetation with trees and everything, like the rainforest. So God created us to have so many different kinds of, land surfaces we have. It's just amazing how everything is not just the same, how you can be in one place and it looks like this, and then a whole different place looks another way. And so the Lord created it to be that way. Okay, let's finish on 194. Go ahead, Austin. I think you're on mute. Some places
are very flat like the grassland. Some places are very high like the mountains. Some places are very low, such as valleys. We call all of the different kinds of nature features of the landforms. When we study God's creation.
Oh no, you could have stopped there. Okay, and so just like we have some places with water and land, some places are very flat, like here in Louisiana. We don't really have too much high ground here, but then there's some places that have high mountains, like especially like in the northwest, like that area going towards like Wyoming, Colorado, back that way. They have a lot of highland there, a lot of mountains you could find there. And so that's even amazing how some places are low, some places are high. So it's amazing how God made the earth, not only to have life on it, but also the different ways the land looks. Okay. So 195, our responsibility. So what should we do to make sure to take care of God's earth that he created for us to live on? Okay, go ahead, Josiah.
When we study God's creation, we see that it all was designed to work together, from the giant sun to the tiny bee. Everything works just as he designed it to work. When God designed and created the earth, he provided everything we would need. He gave us food, water, the right kind of air, energy sources, and building materials. We call these things that God provides natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways to use the resources God gives us wisely. Water, sun, full. What's that word?
Wastefulness.
Wastefulness is never wise. Have you noticed that God is never wasteful? Everything that he made has a special plan. We can use what he has made wisely too. Taking wise care of what God has given us and us is called
stewardship.
Stewardship.
Good. Okay. And so, yes, so whenever God created everything, he also designed what's called natural resources. Okay. And natural resources are the things like food, water, air, energy sources, and materials. Those are what we call natural resources. So these are things that God created when he created the earth. This is not something that man can make. Now, a lot of times we'll use these natural resources to make things. Like, for example, a building. We know that men built the building, right? We know that. But God gave the resources for them to build the building, all the different things, the things that they need to make the brick, the things that they need to make the glass. All of these things are natural resources that God created for them to make the building. So yes, like I said, we know men built it, but God provided all that they need for them to build it. And so all the things that God gives us that we have naturally are called the natural resources. It's things that he created in the earth. Okay. And so not just that, but then the book tells us to be good stewards of everything that God has. And a good steward is someone who takes care of the things that God created. We don't want to destroy his earth. We want to take care of it. So we don't want to throw trash on the ground, for example. That's polluting. That's littering. That's littering. And you don't want to do that. Throw it in the trash can. That's why we have trash cans. So you want to make sure to be a good steward of the earth that God gave us to live on. So let's look at 196.
It has kicked me out.
Yeah, but you're back. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Omar. You can do the top part of that. Unmute.
There are many ways to be a good steward of God's creations. Think before you throw something away. Some things can be
Repurposed.
repurposed and reused. Maybe instead of throwing away a jelly jar, you could wash it and use it as a special pencil holder. When some things cannot be reused, you might be able to recycle it. That means glass, plastic, paper, and metal can we recompose and
Recycle. I'm sorry, reprocess.
reprocess and made something else. Do you have a recycle bin in your home?
Okay, so yes, so there are many ways we can be good stewards, and one of that is by recycling. So I'm not sure if everybody, usually whenever you recycle, you'll have like 2 different trash cans. So you'll have one for regular trash, and then you'll have one for recycling. So anything that's glass, paper, or plastic or metal, they can be recycled. What that means is that they can be made into something else. So it's good to recycle if you could, instead of just throwing everything in the trash, you could separate it and put some things in what's called the recycling so that it could be recycled into something new or something different. So I'm not sure if you have 2 trash cans at your home, but maybe you could check into that later to see if you have a recycling trash can as well. So we have regular trash cans and a recycling one, and usually they're different. The tops are different colors. That's how you know the difference.
Some are green.
Yeah, so it's all different. So like here, one of mine is light blue and the other one is black. So it just depends, where you are, and that'll determine if you have a recycling. So maybe check into that and ask your parents if you have a recycling bin, so that you could potentially start to recycle things. Okay.
Miss Blue Jeans, I've seen
All right,
one
so let's
before.
keep going.
I've seen 2 trash cans.
2, yeah. Well, yeah, if you have 2 trash cans, then that means that you that one is a recycle and one is for regular trash. Okay. Hi, Miss Tebow.
Hi, Miss Tebow.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead.
Hi.
All right. So let's go ahead. All right. Let's keep reading the second part. Somebody who didn't read would like to read. Okay, go ahead, Bailey. So making water.
Okay. Making water clean.
Nobody can make water.
Making water clean, that part?
Yeah.
Okay. Making water clean takes a lot of energy. That means conserving water is a wise way to use less energy. To conserve water, just use the water you need. Don't let the water run too long without a reason. The electricity used to light your bedroom takes energy. Because energy is a resource that God has given us, we should not be wasteful with it. When you are not in your room, turn your light off.
Good. Okay, and so there's also the process of making water clean, which is like filtering the water, because water is not naturally clean, and so there's like it's a process that it has to go to, and so So they suggest that you conserve water, which means to just use the water that you need. So like, for example, don't just let the water run. Like say if you're using the sink and you're just letting the water run and run and run and run, like turn the water off maybe, and do whatever you have to do. And then when you need it again, run the water at that time. If you're washing dishes, maybe, run the water, fill up the sink, and then turn the water off so that you can wash the dishes and then rinse them like that. So that's a way to conserve water as well. And so also electricity takes energy as well. Your parents ever tell you turn those lights off? Have you ever heard your parents tell you that sometimes? So yeah, that's because electricity, yes, electricity burns energy. So you don't want to use all of the electricity at once. So you want to make sure that if you're not in a room, turn the light off. Or if you don't even need the light, turn it off. You know what I'm saying? If you're like watching TV, the TV can light up the room. You may not need a light, So just try to conserve water and energy, meaning use it only when needed. You don't have to have it on and have to use it if you're, if it's not necessary, okay? All right, so 197 is just some, little review. And so the 198 is our last page. So God's special care. When God created the earth, he knew just what we would need. Knowing that the all-wise God is our creator, we can place our lives in his hands. For he who takes care of all nature can also take care of us. Because of this, we can enjoy God's world. And that is true. So this is our last lesson in science, and that completes everything. So the Lord is the creator of everything, and he created the earth perfectly the way that it is. Okay? All right, so that is it for us in science.